Okay, Sergeant, will you please start your recordings?
PC recording is up.
Recording to the cloud all set.
May I begin?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's remote New York City Council vote of the Committee on Land Use. At this time, will all panelists please turn on your video? To minimize disruption, please place electronic devices to vibrate or silent. Thank you for your cooperation. Chair Salamanca, we are ready to begin.
Thank you, Sergeant of Arms. Good morning, I am Councilmember Rafael Salamanca, Chair of the Committee on Land Use. I am joined remotely today by Council Members Rivera, Adams, Ayala, Barron, Borelli, Brannon, Deutsch, Diaz Sr., Gibson, Gredenchik, Kuhl, Miller, Chemoya, Reynoso, Chair Riley, and Rivera. Today we will vote on several applications referred out from our subcommittees. But before we begin, I would like to recognize the committee council to review the remote meeting procedures.
Thank you, Chair Salamanca. I am Julie Lubin, counsel to this committee. Council members who would like to ask questions or make remarks should use the Zoom raise hand function. The raise hand button should appear at the bottom of the participant panel. I will announce council members who have questions or remarks in the order that they raise their hands. Chair Salamanca will then recognize members to speak. We ask that you please be patient if any technical difficulties arise today. Chair Salamanca will now continue with today's agenda items.
Thank you, Council. From our landmark subcommittees today, we will vote to approve LU 726, an application submitted by the Department of Housing and Preservation and Development pursuant to Section 505 of the Article 15 of the General Municipal Law and Section 197C of the New York City Charter, requesting approval of the 16th Amendment to the Harlem East Harlem Urban Renewal Plan. The amendment would extend the duration of the Harlem East Harlem Urban Renewal Plan for 40 years from its expiration date in December of 2020 to maintain design control established under the plan. The Harlem East Harlem Urban Renewal area includes property and council members Ayala and Perkins. We will also vote to approve LU 725, the Everlasting Pine HDFC ground lease amendment submitted by the Department of Housing, Preservation, and Development. This application is for approval of an urban development action project for rehabilitation and stabilize an 87-unit affordable senior housing development located at 96 Baxter Street in Manhattan. This application was submitted to fulfill a commitment under the Rikers Island Points of Agreement acknowledging the 7-year demolition of the Manhattan Detention Complex adjacent to 96 Baxter in order to develop the Manhattan Borough-based jail. HPD will provide financing for the physical protection of the existing building. This project is located in Councilmember Chin's district. The third item we will vote to approve is LU 724, the Landmark Preservation Commission designation of the East 25th Street Historic District. This district consists of an intact group of 56 row houses framing East 25th Street between Clarendon Road and Avenue D in the Flashbook neighborhood of Brooklyn, in Councilmember Lewis's district. All of the houses were built by a single developer, the Henry Meyer Building Company, between 1909 and 1912, and designed by the firm of Glukoff and Glukoff in the Renaissance Revival style. From our zoning subcommittee, we will vote to approve with modification LU 714 and 715 for the 42-11 9th Street special permit application relating to property in Councilmember Van Bringer's district. The application seeks a zoning text amendment and a special permit to include a project area in a new industrial business incentive area and to allow modifications of various bulk and use regulations, including floor area increase for certain industrial and incentive uses, up to a maximum FAR of 6.5. This will facilitate the development of a new 21-story building with approximately 64,000 square feet of required industrial uses, 254,000 square feet of commercial uses, and 3,000 square feet of ground floor retail. Our modification will be to include annual third-party reporting requirements related to compliance for owners within the proposed incentive business incentive area 2. We will also vote to disapprove pre-considers LU 722 and 723, the 16th Avenue rezoning related to property in Borough Park neighborhood in Councilmember Yeager's district in Brooklyn. The application seeks a zoning map amendment to change an R5 and R5/C2-2 district to a C4-4A district and a related zoning text amendment to establish a mandatory inclusionary housing area, utilizing options 1 and 2 in order to facilitate the development of a 5-story commercial office building. We have carefully considered the actions and have ultimately concluded that a disapproval is appropriate here. The rezoning area is a low-density neighborhood dominated by 1 to 3-story buildings. The proposed zoning would permit buildings up to 95 feet, which is out of context with the character of the surrounding area. This rezoning would also upzone and potentially induce displacement on non-applicant controlled sites, including a residential building next to the proposed development site, and a MICK-VAH, an important religious and community resource for the neighborhood. Both the community board and the borough president noted the inappropriate height and bulk allowed by the proposed C4-4A district, as well as the detrimental traffic and parking impacts of a new commercial development. The applicant failed to adequately address these concerns throughout the public process, and so for all these reasons, we will recommend disapproval. We will also vote to approve with modifications pre-considers LU 727 and 728 for the 9114 Fifth Avenue rezoning related to property in Councilmember Brandon's district in Brooklyn. The application seeks a zoning map amendment to change C8-2 district to a R7A/C2-4 zoning district and a zoning text amendment to establish a mandatory inclusionary housing area utilizing options 1 and 2 for the project site, as well as for a larger rezoning area. These actions are intended to facilitate the development of a 9-story, 45,000 square feet mixed-use residential building with ground floor commercial uses and 41 units of housing on the project site, which fronts on a wide street. We have heard concerns from the community board and the borough president regarding the appropriateness of the R7A district map on these three lots with 2-story residential buildings on the corner of 4th Avenue and 92nd Street. R7A districts allow for a maximum FAR of 4.6 with MIH, as well as a commercial use of up to maximum FAR of 2.0, with a maximum height of 95 feet or 9 stories. The proposed rezoning would allow for a higher density and height than is appropriate on this part of 92nd Street. A narrow street which currently consists of 2-story residential and 3-story residential mixed-use buildings on the north side of 92nd Street, and a 7-story commercial building on the south side. For this reason, we are modifying the application to apply more moderate R6A zoning district on these lots instead. The west side of 4th Avenue across the street from these 2-story buildings is currently mapped with an R6A/C2-3 zoning district. R6A zoning district permits a maximum FAR of 3.0 for residential uses, with a maximum base height of 65 feet and an overall maximum building height of 75 feet above a required setback. These properties are in the Bay Ridge Special District, which has goals of maintaining the existing scale and character of the residential and commercial community, and encourages development, which is in the character with the neighborhood. By modifying the zoning map to step down to an R6A district towards 4th Avenue, we would bring the non-conforming lots into conformance, but also ensure that the appropriate height and density matching the surrounding context. We are also modifying the proposed MIA zoning text amendment by adding the workforce option in addition to options 1 and 2. My colleagues, Councilmember Brandon is here to speak more about this modification. And Councilmember Brandon, I will give you the floor.
Thank you so much, Chair Salamanca, and all my colleagues for the opportunity to speak today to express my support of this proposed rezoning. As Chair Salamanca explained in his introduction, the application will change the zoning map by mapping R6A and R7A districts on properties that are now mapped only for commercial use. The rezoning will map MIH over the entire rezoning area. What we had here was a developer who could have built a hotel as of right in an area where we desperately need affordable housing or schools. So in order to get this done, we had to work to do a rezoning to basically block the hotel from being built. This is significant for me because it's the first ever MIH mapping in my community district. Just last week, DCP published an analysis confirming what we already see on the ground, that some neighborhoods have borne a disproportionate burden of increased development. In Brooklyn, Community Board 1 has added over 20,000 new units of housing in the past decade. By contrast, my area, my community board has added less than 300 units, which is not acceptable to me by any means. So we're desperate for affordable housing here. This is not a perfect project, but this is a project that has community support and will provide new residential units and neighborhood serving retail on the ground floor. The community worked for about 2 years very closely on this project to bring this developer to a place of compromise for public benefit. And Bay Ridge deserves this chance to build more affordable housing. So I urge my colleagues on the committee, led by Chair Salamanca, to listen to the community and support this project. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Brandon. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. All right. Thank you, Councilmember. Now moving along, we will also vote to approve pre-considers LUs numbers 729 for the 214-32 Hillside Avenue rezoning related to property in Councilmember Grodenchik's district in Queens. The application seeks a zoning map amendment to map a C2-3 commercial overlay district in an existing R2 district to facilitate the development of a new 2-story commercial building with 5 accessory parking spaces and 1 loading berth. Now, members of the committee and members representing affected districts who have questions or remarks about today's items to use the raise hand button now. Council, will you announce members in the order that the hands were raised?
Yes, Chair Salamanca, Councilmember Grodenchik has his hand raised.
Okay, Councilmember Grodenchik, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair Salamanca. I just want to urge a yes vote on the Hillside Avenue rezoning. It's a small rezoning. I want to thank the land use staff for working so closely with me and my staff. There were many meetings, and as we know, every rezoning can get very, very complicated. This is a small one, but I think it's a very good one for the community, and I want to thank those who had proposed the rezoning for working so closely with my office and with the community to make sure that it is in all ways a positive impact for the Queens Village community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilmember Grodenchik. Council, are there any other hands up? Anyone else wish to speak?
I see no other hands raised.
Okay, thank you. So seeing none, I now call for a vote in accordance with the recommendations of the subcommittees and the local members to approve LU 724, 725, 726, and 729, and to approve modifications as I've described, LU 714, 715, 727, and 728, and to disapprove LU 722 and 723. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Good morning, William Martin, Committee Clerk, Roll Call Vote, Committee on Land Use. All items are coupled. Chair Salamanca.
I vote aye on all, and I just want to give a special congratulations to Councilmember Brandon for really putting this development to work for his community and bringing affordable housing there. Congrats.
Gibson.
Too want to congratulate Councilmember Justin Brannon on a great job. I hope you're feeling better. Continued prayers to you and your family. I vote aye on all.
Barron.
Permission to explain my vote? Oh.
Yes, Councilmember Barron, to explain her vote.
I want to commend Councilmember Brannon for the work that was done, but I still have some concerns, and for that reason, I will be abstaining on 727, 728, and I'll be voting aye on all the others.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deutsch.
Aye and all.
Ku.
Aye on all, and congratulations to Councilmember Brennan.
Levin.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Miller.
Vote aye.
Reynoso.
Permission to explain my vote.
Councilmember Reynoso to explain his vote.
Yesterday, we had a long hearing related to comprehensive planning for land use. It's unfortunate that in certain districts, certain council members have to fight against the potential development of an unwanted development. And because of it, losing leverage and, forcing their hand to build, to not build necessarily affordable housing. And I just hope that, when the time comes and we have to pass legislation or do the work to move away from this ULURP process that allows for developers to have the upper hand, that everybody is on board. Because we're continuing to see the same thing. These Black and brown districts building all the truly affordable housing in the city of New York while everyone else gets a pass. And it's just at some time legislatively, we're gonna have to think of a fix or actually do it. So we could see affordable housing across our city. But given the circumstances, I actually do think this was a well put together plan in South Brooklyn. So I'm gonna vote aye on all. And congratulations to Councilmember Justin Brannan.
Thank you.
Councilmember Traeger.
I vote aye.
Grodenchik.
Aye.
Adams.
Congratulations to Council Members Brannan and Councilmember Grodenchik on your first. I vote aye on all.
Ayala.
Congratulations to Councilmember Brennan, and I vote aye.
Ruben Diaz Sr.
Voting yes on all.
Thank you. Moya.
I vote aye.
Rivera.
Aye on all.
Riley.
Good morning. I vote aye on all, and I would like to congratulate my colleagues, Councilmember Brannan and Councilmember Grodenchik, on adding so much value to your districts. I vote aye on all. Thank you.
Borelli.
I'd like to associate myself with all the nice comments about Council Members Brannan and Grodenchik, and I vote aye on all.
By a vote of 17 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and no abstentions, all items are adopted, with land use items 727 and 728 being adopted by a vote of 16 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 1 abstention. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Clerk. I would like to thank members of the public, my colleagues, and council and land use staff for attending today's hearing.